is the planet we share. Each week we travel above, below, and across its surface on a journey of discovery. In this edition, a researcher in Brazil searches for an elusive new species of monkey. In Japan, celebrating a salamander, the legendary giant is making a comeback. And in Kenya, helping wayward sea turtles find their way home. This is Wild Chronicles.
Sponsored by National Geographic Mission Programs, taking science and exploration into the new millennium.
Hello everyone, welcome to the show. I'm Boyd Matson. On location in the swamps of Luango National Park in Gabon in West Africa. This place is teeming with wildlife. There's an abundance of species everywhere you look. A bit later in the program, we're going to come back for a closer view of the park. But first, we're headed to another ecological hotspot, the Amazon, where we're going to show you something you may never have seen before. In fact, no one may have ever seen it before.
In the verdant heart of Brazil's Amazon are some of the most pristine rainforests left on Earth. Even today, wide expanses remain largely unexplored and undocumented. Primatologist and National Geographic grantee Jean Boudley is here searching for a creature that may be completely new to science. It all started on a visit 2 years earlier, when John spotted some capuchin monkeys that looked out of place.
It took me quite a few minutes to realize that it was a kind of wedge-capped capuchin, and they're not supposed to be found in Amazonas at all.
While they're common in Venezuela and are known to live in the far north of Brazil, these monkeys were far from where they were supposed to be, so Jean was intrigued. But before he could get a better look, they were gone. Now, he's hoping to locate the monkeys again. And if they're a new species, the discovery will help conservationists argue in favor of protecting this area while there's still a chance.
Fortunately, compared to other more pressing areas of the Amazon, we still have time here to do things properly. And that's why I think it's important to start now.
To find out where the monkeys live, Jean goes to the people who know best, the indigenous groups that live along the river.
In the whole of the Amazon, monkeys are food, right? Basically, it's no different than eating a fish or eating a tapir. In the Amazon, that's how it's been done forever, and it's still done that way.
He stops at several communities interviewing hunters. Finally, Sean gets a break. He learns of a family nearby with a pet monkey that matches the description of the new capuchin. Unfortunately, he's too late. The monkey is gone.
What the women are saying is that he was too messy, like eating the eggs and stuff, and one day she got fed up and set him free on the other side of the river and got rid of him.
The monkey may be gone, but the hunter tells Jean where to find others just a few miles away. Jean sets out into the forest with his field assistant, Watamu SeaTurtles, a local who has spent much of his life in forests like this one.
Field guides, they really know the land much more than you do. And even if they don't know specific places where you're exploring, they have that sensitivity to know where monkeys are more easily found.
Every few yards, they stop and listen for the sounds of monkeys in the trees. Finally, they hear something.
We're on the chase of a group of wedge-capped capuchins, the new guys. There's apparently a big group near here. Appears like they're fleeing from us.
Suddenly, the monkeys scatter, and Jean takes off after them, hoping to catch a glimpse. But it's nearly impossible to outrun a troop of monkeys in a dense forest. They get away.
They were pretty fast. I'm not sure if they're shy because somebody has been hunting them. They completely outrun us.
Soon, evening falls and they call it a day. But late in the night, Jean gets word that a hunter has arrived with an unexpected delivery.
Good. Here we have some hunting spoils. We've got a monkey. Yeah, it looks like what we want.
It's a capuchin with the dark markings they have been searching for.
I don't feel that bad that it's not going to be his dinner. At least one is going to be used for science, for the conservation of those animals in this area, which is not preserved at all.
Back at camp, Jean takes some measurements and collects tissue samples for genetic analysis. Then he preserves the entire carcass in alcohol so it can be analyzed back at the lab. But the mission is only halfway complete. Jean still needs to observe the monkey in the wild. So the next day, they head to an abandoned airstrip. Capuchins like to gather at clearings, like this one. If there are any monkeys in the area, this will be the perfect place to spot them. After hours of stalking the edges of the runway, they hear a rustle in the trees. And soon, a single monkey emerges from the canopy. It's the wedge-capped capuchin. For the first time ever, it's captured on video.
And now we've got all the evidence we need. We've got the animal preserved in alcohol, tissue samples removed to do genetic studies to find a relationship with the other closely related species, and we've got it on tape. So this is it. We're going to now, make a case for a new taxon, a new species.
Jean and the team pack up the boat for the long trip home. There's still much work to do back at the lab to determine whether or not this is indeed a new species of primate. But for now, this one uncharted corner of the Amazon is a little better known. And hopefully, that means that someday soon, it will be better protected. We head now from Brazil to the eastern coast of Africa, where conservationists are working to save a special marine species in Kenya. On a stretch of Kenya's Watamu beach, conservationist Kahindi Chengawa leads a group of volunteers on a hunt for turtle eggs. Broken eggshells indicate that the young sea turtles have hatched and left the nest, making a dash for the sea. But then they stumble upon one little latecomer, a tiny turtle almost ready to hatch. They rebury it again in the safety of the sand to give it a fighting chance at survival. That's why the Watamu Turtle Watch program was created, to give endangered sea turtles a chance to survive in a world fraught with danger. The largely volunteer organization protects turtle nests, releases turtles captured in nets, and rehabilitates injured creatures. For Kahindi, this is a commitment to conservation that dates from the first time he released a turtle.
My first release I did, it was a hawksbill one. And when I released it, I had this feeling that this turtle has got another chance of surviving. This is when this passion of conserving turtles started building in me.
Kenya sea turtles need a lot of help. Although it's illegal to hunt them, conservationists say the marine giants are inadvertently being slaughtered by fishermen who use illegal nets and poison to catch fish. To make matters worse, the marine environment has been poisoned with pollution and garbage. And while the turtles' main nesting beach at Watamu is in a protected reserve, tourism has led to the development of many previously wild beaches. At night, their bright lights can confuse sea turtles who navigate to shore by the light of the moon. At the Watamu Turtle Project headquarters, Kahindi gets a call.
How are you today?
Fishermen have accidentally caught some more turtles in their nets and want to turn them over to the conservationist. Helping turtles is only half of the battle. The other half involves helping the fishermen, whose lives are inexorably linked to this marine habitat. Those who are hungry may be tempted to steal turtle eggs or hunt the endangered animals for food. These fishermen used to eat turtles, but now that they're receiving help from the Turtle Watch Project, they're willing to give the turtles they've caught to Kehinde instead. In return, Kehinde pays them compensation for their damaged nets. The fishermen receive money if the turtle is returned alive. The next day, Kehinde takes another wayward sea turtle to a popular resort and gets tourists to lend a helping hand. It's a way to educate them about the endangered creatures.
Pretty good. Okay, come closer.
The Turtle Project relies on volunteers to help keep it running.
I think it's really important that this program continues, and so it needs the help of other volunteers from around the world to come and help with this project, to learn about sea turtles, to spread the word about what Watamu Watch is doing, and that maybe some of these programs can be adopted elsewhere in the world.
Not all turtles are ready for immediate release. Those that are sick or injured are treated at the project's rehabilitation facility. At a nearby beach, one of the facility's residents, an endangered hawksbill turtle named Kusombi, is headed for some physical therapy. Under the ever-watchful eye of Kehinde, she's going for a practice swim in the ocean. Kusumni washed up on a beach several years ago, malnourished and unable to dive. Turtles like that are called floaters. It's believed they have digestive problems from eating plastic. Trapped gas prevents them from submerging underwater. But with tender care, Kusomni is doing better and may someday be able to return to the wild. Organizers say that's the goal, to return wayward turtles back to their natural habitats.
When you have a look at pure numbers, we've been able to save over 45,000 young hatchlings and enable them in a natural way to go back into the sea. In terms of adult animals or juveniles and adults that we've saved from the fishermen, in excess of 3,600 animals have been released back into the sea.
For Kehinde, it's a special joy to return rescued turtles to the water, where they spend almost their entire lives. This time, an encounter with humans hasn't proven deadly. And instead of being hurt, they are being helped.
If National Geographic Explorer in Residence Mike Fay ever asks you to go for a hike, be sure and wear your sandals, because he will lead you through rivers and mud-sucking swamp that'll pull the shoes right off your feet. Also, plan to take several months. But Mike's extreme hikes have produced some extraordinary results for conservation.
Luongo National Park on the coast of Gabon in West Africa is a magical place, where forest meets sea, and animals from the turf venture into the surf. Six years ago, Mike Fay helped create this park and 12 others after completing the Mega Transect, what some have called the first great expedition of the 21st century. Wow. It was an epic 1,200-mile, 456-day trek to document flora and fauna from the heart of the Congo to the coast of Gabon. Today, I'm joining him for a return visit to Luongo. First thing I noticed, he still hasn't learned the meaning of the word detour. He has, however, learned what it means to have a dream come true.
Having a country establish 13 national parks overnight, that they've given you the pen to mark on the map. For a conservationist, that's like winning the $278 million lottery. And then to come back 6 years later and you think maybe you were dreaming, and in fact you weren't. It's real.
From millipedes to elephants. From Red River hogs to buffalo. Gabon's forests, according to Mike, are filled with as many many creatures as the Serengeti. You just can't see all the animals for the trees. So he takes me to a clearing called the Bai that he discovered on the mega transect.
We think that this clearing had never been found by Africans and had never been hunted before, which is the only one in Central Africa we've ever found that has never been hunted.
Several groups of elephants are playing and drinking in the Bai when we arrive. Neither our presence nor a sudden intense rainstorm seems to bother them. Clearly, these elephants are thriving, evidence that the park is doing what it was supposed to do.
When I can come back to Luongo National Park and I see that the buffalo herds have doubled in size and that I don't see any machete cuts in the forest from poachers, and there's gorillas and chimpanzees and elephants and all these things, no sign of logging or oil or any kind of exploitation of the forest, I'm very happy.
These forests and beaches could have been developed by humans for humans. But thanks to conservationists like Mike Fay, Gabon's parks are providing a safe haven for that country's wildlife.
We're now headed down to the southernmost tip of Africa, where some researchers are going along the coast looking for sharks. Well, they're not so much looking as they are listening.
Striped like a tiger, this shark not only shares a name with Earth's biggest cat, but also an attitude. It's a cunning, swift, and powerful predator. The tiger shark has a reputation as being dangerous to humans, a perception that conservationists like Vic Pettimores believe is unjust.
These guys have had a bad rap. Everyone thinks of tiger sharks as being these vicious monsters of the deep that are scavengers. First of all, that's wrong. Secondly, that they'll go out there and eat humans at every opportunity.
To find out how dangerous these sharks really are, researchers working with the Save Our Seas Foundation have come to KwaZulu-Natal on the eastern shore of South Africa. Here, lush hills covered with sugarcane roll down to sandy beaches. It's a popular spot for humans and a prime habitat for tiger sharks. The SOS team heads for open water through a notoriously rough surf to a protected marine sanctuary 30 minutes from shore. To discover how much of a threat the sharks are to humans, the team must monitor their movements. So they prepare to tag the sharks for identification.
These are spaghetti tags, and normally this is what we'd call a passive tag. And the big thing with these is that you're only getting information when the shark is recaptured.
Marcus will hand it over to us when we're in the water.
The team places listening stations on the ocean floor.
2, 3, go.
Each station, secured to a concrete block, collects data from passing sharks wearing the electronic tags. The team discovers that while smaller, less threatening sharks swim near beaches, the larger adults tend to stay far offshore.
The interesting thing about the tags is that they've shown that the smaller animals are staying further inshore and the larger animals are offshore, suggesting that there's some sort of niche separation between the two sort of size categories.
The tags also indicate that while the smaller sharks stay in the area year-round, most of the large, full-grown adults seem to just be passing through on a migration. This information is crucial because sharks are perceived to be a major threat here. After a spate of shark attacks 50 years ago, authorities installed nets to protect swimmers along beaches. While attacks on humans are now rare, critics say the nets kill too many endangered creatures, like turtles, and are ineffective because sharks could potentially swim around them.
Risk of shark attack is undoubtedly low. It's a rare event. It was a rare event even in the days before shark nets were introduced.
A lot of the tourists really believe that these nets